Hello all, some more Australian labels. Poison Ivy, Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. This is the original, 1964. This came out, and the Beatles came out here to Australia early in 1964, or sort of early to mid 64, and this record kept them off the number one spot. And the Beatles wanted to meet him. They said, "We want to know who's keeping us out of the number one spot." It is the definitive version of Poison Ivy. It absolutely kills. The Vince Maloney sect, No Good Without You. It's a cover of a Byrds song, not the Byrds from the USA, but Ronnie Wood's brother from the UK was in a band called the BIRDS. This is a killer version of their song No Good Without You. It just rips. Weak vocals, but Vince Maloney's guitar on this is so heavy, and he ended up being the guitar player in the Bee Gees, believe it or not. Not that you would notice him much on their records, except his strangled six-note guitar break on World, which is mind-boggling. It's 6 notes, but it says a lot in those 6 notes. It's a wonderful in label. This is a real underground classic, this one, By My Side, the Eloy. Oh, I think they're from South Australia. It is grunge, well, not grunge, it's freak beat psych bloody masterpiece, that one. A cover of the Johnny Burnett song, Little Boy Sad, but I reckon it's just as good, if not better, by MPD Limited out of Melbourne. On the wonderful Go label, there was a TV show called The Go Show, and it was so successful on Saturday mornings. It was so successful that they actually created their own label. Most of the records on Go aren't very good, but that one is probably the best. We're sort of going along in chronologically in time, more or less. This is extremely rare, very, very, very rare. Caesar's International label. I think they only put out 1 or 2 records. Caesar's was it was a nightclub a famous nightclub in Sydney, and a bit like the Caesars in the USA. There were gangster connections, but yeah. Side 1, Satan, and Side 2, Satan's Daughter, Freshwater. Very strange single. I love it, and it was a minor hit here. Sort of a bit like if Santana and Black Sabbath got together. Figure that one out for yourself. This is an extremely rare Australian label. This was a hit in Australia. Great little pop song, Vander and Young, Easy Beats, on Violet's Holiday label. Life is Getting Better by Flake. It's pop, but it's a really good pop. It's Vander and Young, that's to be expected. People only remember them for the Easy Beats, but there'd be no AC/DC without Vander and Young. I mean, George Young's 2 younger brothers were in AC/DC, and they produced their first 4 albums, I think, or 3. But they wrote many songs for many other people that you might hear a song, you think, oh, I love that song, and you don't know who wrote it. Quite often, you'll find Vander and Young were behind it. This is the wonderful. This is on the Sparmac record, Australian record label. Now, Ken Sparks is the first part of the name, and somebody Mac, I forget. Ken Sparks was a disc jockey, a very influential disc jockey in Australia. He's a good guy. And Mac, can't remember who he was, but they got together. That was Sparmac. This label didn't last very long either, but they did have a bit of a hit with Ongo Bongo, Jerry and the Joy Band. Now, if you look on the back, there's a song called My Name is Earl. And then, like decades later, one of my all-time favourite TV shows is My Name is Earl, a really weird TV show from the US. But yeah, Jerry was Humphreys was in the Loved Ones. Awesome band. There was one American guy in the band. Jerry was English, and the rest were Aussies and Kiwis. But yeah, the Loved Ones, mighty Australian band. And after they broke up, he went off on his own. But this is a ripper. It's bonkers, man, bonkers. Screaming Jay Hawkins would have loved to have covered that one. Moving along, we're moving along in time now. We're into the 70s now. The Mushroom label. Matt Taylor. Remember When I Was Young. This is an Australian, almost like an Australian anthem for people of a certain age. Matt Taylor was like Australia's premier blues man. I remember when I was young. You know, it's just a basic sort of it's not a boogie and it's not a blues. It's just different. It's sort of that, but better. Can't explain it, but it was just, yeah, it's just an iconic song. You know, early 70s, mid 70s, something. And the Infinity label. The Mighty Blackfeather, the Mighty Blackfeather, Seasons of Change. And on the B-side, On This Day That I Die. Great single. Ooh. Yeah, that's a classic song, Seasons of Change. It's right up there, you know. It's proggy. The Bon Scott, the drummer in Fraternity. There was a band called Fraternity which they covered this. This is a Blackfeather original, but Fraternity did a cover version, Seasons of Change, and playing the flute on it. But cop this is Bon Scott from AC/DC, with a beard. He looks so stupid. I mean, people don't forget that Bon Scott tried everything, right? He started out in a bubblegum group called the Valentines. Then he moved on to Fraternity and went all hippie, and he grew this like a beard, but he looks like a little garden elf, you know, those things you see in a garden. And he's playing a flute. It's so funny. And then to end up being the lead, you know, singer in AC/DC, what a guy. Dearly loved and sadly missed. Yes, he was born in Scotland, but he's an Aussie. And this one, I just love this label. So beautiful. Billingsgate. And it's Doug Ashdown. Now, Doug Ashdown was a folkie from South Australia. Very good folk guy, but he went sort of commercial just on this single called Winter in America. It is one of the most beautiful, sad, you know, sort of like Jerry Rafferty, you know, that Jerry Rafferty song that was really famous around the same time, The Streets of London. It's not like that, but it's that sort of quality in that direction, you know, like folkies going commercial. But this is a superb song, Winter in America. Really sad, beautiful stuff. Well, that's all for today, folks. Now, take care all.